Aaron, welcome back onto the podcast. I say performing, so to speak. It's not performing. You're competing on the 21st of November at Shamrock Ambush. You're taking on Joe Brewer. Now, you did on your last bout, did a beautiful gesture in donating your purse and your commission from the fight. And this time, you've went and done it again. But do you want to elaborate on how you're doing it this time? Because it's not the same. It's not the same way. You're not directing it the same way this time, are you? It's going another way.
Yes, sir. I think one time I fought for the same cause, but the fights were 3 or 4 weeks apart, something like that. So and it was a good buddy of mine, but I fought for his kid. This time on November 21st, I'm fighting for a coworker. His wife is a 2-time breast cancer survivor, and she was diagnosed with cervical cancer, I think March of last year, something like that, March of 2014. And the doctors told her that she would not live past the summer of 2015. But I actually met her for the first time the other day. It wasn't like an awkward meeting or anything like that, but I work at Casey Turner Middle School and everything, and it was a dress-up day for Halloween and everything, and I get a call to the front office, and I'm decked out in a full-on Ninja Turtles costume and everything, and oh man, I was dressed like Michelangelo. I had the nunchucks and everything.
I was going to say which one, because it is important which one,
Yeah, I was Michelangelo, and we were missing the fourth one, but another teacher was Leonardo, and then we had another one as Raphael. So, but I get up to the front office, and there's 3 individuals standing there, and they had on it looked like masks from the movie The Purge, if you've ever seen that, and they were just kind of, I walk in, and they're all 3 just staring at me, and it kind of made me feel a little uneasy. I was like, okay, what did I do here? I was like, what's going on? Who are these people? And they say we were the secretary's like, hey, this is Aaron here, and they're like, Aaron, it's nice to meet you. We want to royally boo you or whatever, something like that. And I was like, what? Say that again? They said, we're here to give you a royal boo, or and everything. And they gave me a sack full of candy, and they were saying royal boo because I'm from Kansas City, and Royals World Series is going on, and the boo part was for the Halloween. But I was like, oh man, I thought you guys are booing my costume. I thought it was pretty sharp and everything.
Heartbroken.
But I didn't. Camellia she was one of the ones with the mask on, and I didn't catch on to it at first because it just kind of caught me so off guard. But she's like, I'd like to thank you for what you do here at school and what you're doing for my family. Well, she walked off, and they all left the building, and I looked at the secretary. I was like, wait a second, was that Camellia? Because like I said, I'd never met her, and she had her mask on. And, she looked like she was doing great and everything, and I sent her an email right away, right afterwards, like, ma'am, I severely apologize. I did not know that was you, and I get thrown off, but, she seems to be doing well and everything, and, she's taking life one day at a time, and, she's fighting through everything, and like I said, she's doing well.
It's great to hear that, and we love these kind of side stories to fighting. We recently had Shane Crutchin on, who is a former Marine, and his partner can't make it to the 240th Marine Corps ball, so he's offered to give a gold star lady, basically someone, either a widow, a daughter, etc., who's lost a son or whatever in combat, to come. He's going to pay all expenses paid to the Marine Corps ball to go with him. And
yes, sir. I've seen that all over social media, and I thought that was really, really awesome.
Yeah, we just had him on last week talking to him about it, and you know what? It's
these feel-good things, the things that leave in you, like, it doesn't matter how good your day's been or how bad, it leaves you feeling good about that, and it's coming from MMA, which some people would say is an aggressive one,
you know, it's a
dimensional
barbaric
thing,
sport,
yeah.
and you think, do you know what? It's not. People have got hearts, and this is something that I think needs publicised, and people need to hear about it more.
And something that's done by choice. You
Yes.
know, no one's put a gun to your head and make you do this. You know, you've chose to help these people. You know,
Yeah.
and
you know, we take our hat off. We tip our hat to people like this, and I mean, it's beautiful that you're doing it. Obviously, you take the fight seriously anyway. You know, you're not just stepping in there and you're not going to get blown out in 5 seconds. You know, you're a competitor anyway. You've proven that with winning fights, and you like to submit people, and that's pretty much what I imagine you're probably trying to do this time round.
Yes, sir. You know, and kind of getting, you know, talking about the charities and everything a little bit more. And I tell everybody all the time, and I think I talked to you guys about it last time I spoke with you. You know, I'm in a position to be able to help and everything, and you know, so I help. I don't view it as anything special that I'm doing or anything like that, because I just view it as that's what you should do and help others and everything. So, you know, I tell everybody, I was like, I'm not really doing anything. You know, other people are like, you know, the promoters are giving me the chance to fight and paying money. You know, the fans are showing up, paying money for the tickets, and that, you know, fighters don't get paid if there's no fans. I'm just a guy getting punched in the face. So, you know, I can get by without the money. You know, people need it more than I do, and like I said, I'm in a position to help, so I help.
No, it isn't. We're obviously, like you say, it's something that you want to do, and people sometimes don't do stuff like this. Some people are, sadly, a lot of people are selfish. There is a lot of greedy people in the world, and I think the way society has driven our lives that's helped drive people to be like that. Not intentionally, but it's just the way greed has taken over. And I think when we hear stories like this, I think it helps make people maybe step back and go, do you know what? I probably could spare doing this or doing that.
whether it be
or
time, money.
You know, it's only little things. For example, I recently was competing on an event, and one of the fights was a charity fight. What it was, a guy was fighting for the first time. He'd never fought before. He was I think he started off at about 105 kilos. And he wasn't in shape or anything. He was like in his 40s, overweight, 105 kilos, not like ripped. And he got down to 94 kilos. He got people out. He paid out of his own pocket. He'd never competed, never trained. Paid out of his own pocket to get training, one-on-one training from boxers and all sorts of coaches and stuff. And obviously people helped out. And it was all because of a friend of his that had a stroke and had like an operation done and everything. And it was just to raise money for him. And the whole ticket sales, he sold the most tickets for that event as well. Every penny was going towards helping this his friend out, to help out with maybe, you know, doing adjustments to their house that need, you know, like because he's maybe in a wheelchair, need, you know, ramps, etc. You know, just those little things that people don't realise the cost. The event itself, people could put money in. They were they did a raffle. People in the crowd could donate into a bucket and stuff like that. They raised on the night itself. They raised over £2,000, which I think is about $3,500 ish.
Yeah, it's about $3,000.
$3,000 then, depending on what the exchange rate is. But you know, it's beautiful. You know, it just shows that, you know,
there are individuals.
Yeah, that was a night of MMA fighting where people were trying to knock each other's heads off, but at the same time, it shows that there's a brighter side to everything.
There's plenty of people that will drop a coin into a bucket, but you need somebody to be holding that bucket, doing that thing, to encourage that effort from everyone else, you know. And it's people like yourself that are actually
can start the ball rolling as well.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah. And honestly, Aaron, that was the first thing I asked the promoter the next day. You know, after the event, I didn't. First thing I said to him was, "How much did you raise?" You know, and he was so made up as well. The promoter, he was so happy about it. You know, it was a touching story, and he won as well. The guy went and won his fight, which was, you know, it was just beautiful. You know, it was a nice way to
happy ending.
You know, it was a one-off. He's never going to fight again, but he went in and done it, and he's made up.
Yeah, apparently he's praying that everyone else doesn't have a stroke now.
But hey, it's what I think people need to sometimes take a bit of time spend a bit of time on their own and say, I have got the time to maybe make an effort with stuff. We've got
exactly. Not everyone has money, but sometimes you do have a spare half a day.
Yeah, we got Remembrance Sunday coming up in the UK, And do you know what? 2 minutes of silence isn't the hardest thing in the world to do, but little things like gestures.
I don't know.
People, yeah, some
you
people.
Haven't been married, have you?
No, you haven't been. Yeah. But I think stuff like this, I think people need to be made aware of to maybe make themselves look in the mirror and ask themselves questions. And Aaron, I think this is what this hopefully will do.
I like I said, I've never thought too much about it, like it's anything special I'm doing, but I've had a number of people say the charities and everything, is real inspiring and everything, and it makes me feel good, and I have the belief all it takes to make a difference is like one little gesture, one course of action, just one person can make a difference, because then it starts a trend, and if the things that I may say or do whatnot can start a trend to help others out, that's good enough for me, regardless of anything else.
Yeah, and that's what I think people will listen to now, and they'll kind of be touched by it. And I think, honestly, Aaron, it is, for you, it doesn't seem like much because you do it. That's
you
the thing.
imagine if one other person gets that seed planted in their head and says, you know what, I'm going to do something.
Yeah.
Bang.
It doesn't
not only if you help someone, you've helped inspire somebody else to help someone. You know.
They don't have to have an MMA bout. They can go and run a half marathon. Or something smaller even, but it doesn't matter. It's something.
Or even a mile.
Even a mile, yeah, a sponsored mile. It's only little things. But Aaron, you're getting ready for the fight, and do you, when you compete, do you try to switch off from all of that? Do you switch off from what you're doing? Will you not think about what you're doing it for? Will you think about just the fight? Is that something you can switch off from?
That's a pretty interesting question, because my last fight, it didn't turn out, the best for me. I ended up losing in the second round, and I told a training partner of mine, he's a real good friend and everything, and I was sitting down talking with him, and I told him, I told my coaches too. I was like, I don't know what happened. I felt great physically and everything. I did not show up mentally ready to fight, and I just, throughout the whole course of the fight, I told him I felt like a zombie, just going through the motions of everything, and I just couldn't explain it. And Jason Hyde was actually in my corner, and in between the first and second round, he smacked me on the chest a couple times. He used some choice language a little bit that I won't repeat here, but he's like, get into it, get your mind right. Get into this fight, and I just had a deer in it. I had to look like I was a deer in a headlight and everything, and I couldn't explain it, what happened and everything. And like I was saying, I was talking to a good friend of mine, and not to say it in any negative way or anything like that, but he's like, I think he goes, I think you've just gotten to the point where you're out there, and you're satisfied with doing something good. He's like, you're not necessarily out there for yourself as much. You're just, if you win or lose, no big deal. You're still out there, and you're satisfied because you did it for a good cause. And like I said, it's not in any negative way. Like, I shouldn't be out there trying to do anything, raise money for somebody else, but like I said, it was a good point, because I'm out there. I have forgotten how to compete, and that's my main focus on going into this fight. The physical part has never been a problem for me. I've always been ready to compete. I've been in shape and everything. This time, it's just, I'm still doing the charity, obviously, but I'm going out there a little bit more for me this time. With this fight, I got to see if I can still compete and everything. My age is getting up there, and fighting has a short lifespan, anyways. And you never know when I make. Like I said, with this one, I'm going to go out there and try to just get back to the way I used to fight. That means going out and taking the guy's best punch. Then so be it. That's the way I used to be. Is I'd go out and take the guy's best punch just to show him that he could not beat me with it. You know, if that's what it takes, I'm going to do it. I got to be out there and see if I can still compete, see if I can still take somebody's best punch and keep moving forward.
Beat him psychologically. Beat him psychologically by standing there going, "Is that it?" kind of thing.
Yeah, and getting your eyes back on the prize, which is get the win, and progress yourself as well.
Yes, sir. You know, and everybody shows up. You know, my family, friends. You know, everybody that supports me, and you know the families of the people that I'm doing the charity for and everything. And you know, I always feel so bad. You know, everybody. You know, fighters always say they always apologize if they lose, and everybody's like, don't ever apologize. You know, you didn't let anybody down. But you know, kind of the way I started describing it, you know, we apologize if, as a fighter, if we lose, we apologize because, you know, we know what it means for, you know, the family, friends, everybody be there and see us win, and they get disappointed to see us lose. They're disappointed to see us struggle. You know, it's not easy for them. So we don't want to put anybody through that. So we feel sorry for that and everything. So, you know, with this one, hopefully I can walk away and let everybody leave the arena with a good feeling.
Hey, 21st of November. That's all you got to do is 15 minutes of everything, and then that's all you got to focus on now. And it's not that far away. You've got plenty of time to get that kind of mindset and determination in there. I think you know what,
and save a little thinking for yourself as well, because you're doing a lot of thinking for everyone else.
yeah.
You know, think about yourself as well. You know, it's
be a bit selfish for 15 minutes
because you're important as well. It's not just your family and everyone that you're doing the good things for. You know,
it is, and
yes, sir.
You know, it's going to be a huge night as always at Shamrock FC, as they always are. For people who want to watch the fight, they can on Shamrock FC website. But Aaron, if they maybe want to join on to you socially, like social media and stuff, maybe to talk about how you've helped maybe them in a way with maybe doing charity work or maybe inspired someone. How can they jump on to maybe give you a follow and stuff?
My Twitter, my username is AK Poston. On Instagram, my handle is _Poston. Instagram I use probably more than anything. You know, Twitter, I apologize, but if anybody follows me on Twitter, all you're going to see for the last little bit of time is tweets about the Royals and everything. You know, I'm a diehard Kansas City Royals fan, so I've been on cloud nine watching them go through the playoffs and everything. You know, probably for the last couple of weeks, that might be that all that's on there is tweets about the Royals and everything. But now that that's died down, you know, I'm gonna find some other things to tweet about.
No, you can still celebrate it. Why not? You know.
Oh man!
You know,
I tell you what, Kansas City has been nuts. There was fireworks going off until 4:00 in the morning the other night when they won the World Series, and now they've got their celebration parade going on, and I'm watching it online. And I chose not to go. I was like, you know what? I've waited 30 years to go, and I'm not going to miss it. But then I'm not much for being like overcrowded, and I didn't figure I'd be able to get close enough to see anything anyways, because there was people camping out overnight just to get a good spot for the parade. And they said there's over 500,000 people there today.
That would be a bit tough to get a good spot.
And see more than anybody else will.
Yeah.
I know how you feel. I think a cage is overcrowded sometimes. You know, 3 people, that's getting a bit many, to be honest. You know.
Half a minute, that's quite a busy time. Yeah, I think watching it on TV is the best view you'll get, mate.
Oh yeah, I'm not missing anything, and I'm getting commentary with it and everything.
Exactly, they get the exclusive interviews that you won't, because if you're standing in the crowd, once you go past, that's it. So I think you made the right choice. I think you definitely made the right choice on that one. And hey, keep celebrating. There's no reason not to. And like you say, it doesn't happen every day, does it? So why not stop? Why stop? Sorry. Look, Aaron, have a great time. But before you go, what about sponsors? Have you got any sponsors out there who've helped you out with this camp?
Yes, sir. First, I want to thank my family and friends and everything. I like I say, and every time, my family and friends make everything worth it for me. I know I don't say it often enough, and I don't get to spend a whole lot of time with them, but I love them. I love all the support that they've ever given me. I want to thank everybody at my gym, American Top Team HD here in Kansas City. Everybody in there is just really, really supportive of each other. And, we talk about selfishness, but nobody in there is really we don't have selfish people in there. It's great. We're a real close-knit group of people and everything, close-knit group of friends. I want to thank my sponsors, Unbroken Chiropractic, and then Integrity Bell Bonds with Jason Self in Topeka, Kansas. One thing that I'll kind of tell you guys that's changed a little bit since the last time. Jason Self, he was my original coach, and I still get back and work with him as often as I can. He started up Integrity Bell Bonds, and I actually, talking about, everybody's always like, well, you're always getting in all these, doing these random things, posting and everything, and I actually got out with him. It's a different kind of sponsor. Like I said, he's a Bell Bonds businessman. He got me out on a whatever you'd say, a bounty hunt and everything. So I'm like right behind him, and we're getting ready. We're knocking on his door, and he's like, "Well, if he doesn't answer it, I'm getting ready to kick it in." I tell you what, that's a whole different kind of adrenaline rush that's coursing through you at that point in time. It ain't nothing like I've been in 30 fights throughout my career, boxing and MMA. I've never had that kind of adrenaline rush when he said, "I'm going to kick in the door." But definitely want to thank him for everything he's always done, and that different kind of sponsorship, kidding me out and going on bounty hunts with him.
Hey, that's some awesome experience, an adventure. That's an adventure that you wouldn't have got if you hadn't strayed into this career, and that's like that's the great thing about MMA.
Do you know what? And you can't do that without criminals. So thank you to all the criminals out there for keeping people in business.
Like you just said there, though. I mean, I've met a ton of people in my life through being involved with fighting that I never would have met before. So many people have become real good, close friends of mine and everything. I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you guys. I wouldn't have a chance to raise money for Camellia, to raise money for Ruby like I did last time. I fully appreciate every experience I've had from fighting and everything.
Yeah, it is fantastic, and like I say, we get amazing experiences as well from it.
The fight community, even though it's getting bigger, it's still close.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
It's still small. It still feels small.
Yeah,
it does.
Yes, sir.
And honestly, Aaron, have a great time on the 21st. We'll be keeping a close eye on what happens over there as well on Shamrock Cards, as always, and just have a great time. For yourself. Yeah, that's the key. Have a great time yourself. Just 15 minutes of all.
Do a bit for you.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, sir. I don't plan on walking out of this one like the last one. I'm going to come out of this one with my hand raised. I don't care how it goes. I don't care if it goes 15 minutes. I don't care if it goes 15 seconds. I'm coming out of this one with my hand raised.
That's the positive attitude we want to hear, my man. That's what we want to hear.
Sounds good to me.
Yes, sir.